Life is full of big moments of change and transformation where we have to pivot on our path.
Those moments come with a wide variety of emotions, from fear and anxiety to joy and relief.
I'm Kelly Koopmans.
And I'm Mary Nam, and this is Hard Turn. Hi.
Well, hi,
Hold on,
Mary.
I thought you were going to start it. I was like,
oh, wait.
Awkward pause.
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Do you want to start? Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's just be like, hey.
Good to see you, Kelly.
It's good to see you, Mary. It's nice to find you back in our swanky digs.
You look so great.
Oh, thank you.
I love that one piece. It's too
Thank
bad
you.
that people at home can't tell that it's a one piece.
Well, it is a one piece, everyone.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is when neighborhoods that get together and get all their clothes.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, if anyone wants something free, come pick it up off
Gosh,
the
you have to
corner.
let me know when you guys do that again. Your neighborhood has cool clothes.
You're welcome to swing on by. Hey, it's the perks of now being on video, right?
That's right. Oh, and okay. I made this.
You made that.
I made this tank top.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't have mentioned
Are you
it.
still making clothes as much as you were? Because you went through a phase.
I did go through, the phase is back.
Oh, it's back. Okay,
yeah.
great.
I kind of put down the sewing machine for a year and a half.
But look
and
at
now
this.
I'm starting. I got my Sojo back.
She's got her Sojo. I like that.
Thank you.
Speaking of Sojo, Mojo. Okay, Katie
Speaking of
Denniston.
Mojo, Katie.
She's
Incredible.
absolutely amazing. To give people a quick little crash course of what she went through. She went through a lot in a very short time period. Husband was going through some medical stuff. You'll hear about her own medical journey that started right after that. Meanwhile, all while she's pregnant.
Yep. Halfway through 20 plus weeks with a toddler already. Okay. Family of 3 about to become family of 4. And then crisis happens.
I love how she focuses on optimism and finding joy.
Absolutely.
So let's get right to it. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, this is really awesome to hear your story because there's so much going on at one time. And I think that if people find themselves in like this vortex of change, they're going to look at you and see a lot of inspiration.
Thank
here.
you.
So here on Hard Turn, we like to go straight to the gut of what happened here. Can you tell us, take us back to before all of this began. What did life look like for you and your family, and when did it all change?
We were just a happy little trio, my husband and our, at the time, 2.5-year-old son, hanging out, doing regular things as families do, bopping around on the weekends. And then my husband was in the hospital on Valentine's Day of this year with a collapsed lung. I was like, okay, I don't know really what this means. He made it through the weekend just fine, got out on Monday. We're just going to hang out as a family, celebrate that Dad was home. And then 7 hours later, we were we're driving home, and I had a seizure in the car. It started with a leg cramp. I was like, oh, Brad, pull over. I'm having a leg cramp. And then my whole left side of my body kind of spasmed a little bit. And I was like, maybe I'm having a stroke, call 911. Because I really didn't know what was going on, but I knew something was not right. And I was in the back seat with Louie, my son, because he likes me to sit by him. And Brad jumped out of the car to ask for the address of where we were at. And before I knew it, the ambulance was there, and I was being taken to Evergreen Hospital. Not knowing what happened to me, I felt fine at this time. And they did all my vitals. Everything was fine, minus the high blood pressure, which understandably so. And I went in and had an MRI. Just like, okay, do what you need to do. You guys know what you're doing. And then time passed, and they came back and they said, you experienced a seizure. And I was like, okay, I'm fine now. Okay, why did I have a seizure? And like, you have a 5-centimeter tumor growing on your brain. And I was like, me? But I'm fine. I've been fine. So what does this mean? And he's like, well, this on your brain. It's not in your brain, so let's start there. It's most likely a meningioma. And I was like, you don't have to put a name on it. I don't know anything about this stuff. And he said, and you can't drive for 6 months. And I was like, okay. Like, my life is in the car with Louie. We're constantly going to the park. I'm going to work. We're doing things. We're not a stay-home family. And then they sent me home from the hospital with some medication, and I went to bed that night and woke up the next morning. I was like, what happened yesterday?
And
what was that?
Meanwhile, you are pregnant.
And I'm pregnant. Yes. I was 23 weeks pregnant at the time. Yeah. In the hospital, we were able to hear the baby's heartbeat, which was more important than anything, that we could hear the heartbeat. And I had no idea what was ahead for us after going home and trying to comprehend what happened and what is coming up.
You're just over halfway through your pregnancy at the time. Your husband recovering from collapsed lung. Now you have this diagnosis. So what was the immediate step? Would they say you need to have surgery right away? Were you given any options?
They told me that I was fine to wait until after baby came, but that I would have MRIs throughout my pregnancy to monitor the tumor. If there was growth, they would want to take it out during pregnancy. So I believe I had 3 MRIs during pregnancy, and none of them showed growth, which was amazing because I did not want to experience brain surgery while pregnant because, again, I'm learning so much about this medical world that I had no idea about. Anesthesia is not safe for babies. And so there was the potential of brain surgery and C-section at the same time if needed. And I was like, that's not my life. That's not happening to me. That's not an experience I want to go through or our baby to go through.
I'd like to take you back to that morning that you kind of alluded to. You know, you're pregnant. Your husband just got back from this lung situation. You had a seizure. Now you have a brain tumor. You go home. You wake up the next morning, and then what? What do you do? Do you lay in bed and talk about it with your husband, or do you just stare at a wall? What do you do in those moments to try and process the change of events so rapidly?
I don't think we really processed it. My son had stayed at my parents' house. They met us at the hospital and took him home for the night because I didn't know how long we'd be there. It's like, well, we got to get up. We need to go to Target, get my new prescriptions, and we have to go get Louie. And I didn't have time to process it. And I was like, okay, this is what happened. And if you see me have the seizure, this is what you need to do. And I just kind of went on with it. And I told my work. And I came in late the next day to work. And I was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be here? I'm fine. And I told my story, just kind of how I'm saying it now. Like, I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. But everyone's like, but you have a tumor on your brain. And I'm like, and I'm going to be fine.
Your sense of optimism, confident optimism, is really admirable. You have a beautiful baby, you know, she's full term, and then your surgery followed not too long after, correct?
10 days after.
10 days
After having a baby.
Yeah. And she was a high-risk delivery also because she had to come via C-section and under general anesthesia. So I didn't know she was born when she was born. I knew I was going back into the operating room, and Brad couldn't be in there with me due to the general anesthesia. And we didn't know if we were having a girl or a boy. Brad wanted to wait. And so, like, the silver lining of all of it was that Brad got to meet her first before I did. So he knew that we had a girl before I did, which is, I think, what we both wanted. We would have been happy with a healthy baby.
Yeah.
But we have a boy. So to have a girl was really special. And he found out first.
Where did that optimism initially come from when you walked into the office and you're telling your coworkers what's going on and they're giving you this, like, jaw to the floor? What made you say, but I'm going to be okay?
I had to be. I just knew I had to be. I've had a few other medical things, not major like this at all. I'm like, I'm just going to go in and have this taken care of. Part of me was like, well, this is kind of neat, I guess, to, like, be able to say that I have this and I'm going to be okay. Because if I was like, wow, this is really awful, and no one would want to talk about it, I feel, but my optimism made people ask questions about it and be curious about it, versus like, oh, here comes Katie again talking about her brain tumor. But I think just being optimistic kept people interested about it and curious.
And less fearful, too.
Yeah. I mean, there were definite times of fear, but I really tried to keep those between Brad and I, or my mom and I, and I didn't want Louis to hear any of my fear, and he really didn't know what was going on. He knew I had a leg cramp, and he still talks about my leg cramp. Like, oh, Mom, you taking your pills for your leg cramp? And I'm like, I sure am, buddy.
He thinks this is all about the leg cramp.
Yeah, which is just fine.
Yeah.
For people, when they hear the optimism, that clearly that is the majority of how you were able to cope with this. But when you did have those moments of fear, what did those look like? What were those thoughts?
I thought I was going to die. I thought, this is awful. Why is this happening to me? I have the love of my life with me, Brad, and Louis, and the kid I don't know inside of me. I was very scared and really questioning why this is happening to me. But then I was like, but we'll be fine. I always came back to, we'll be fine. At the end of all of my breakdowns, I was like, deep breath, I know you're going to be fine. Because there was truly no other option. than to do both of these, have the baby, and then the brain surgery. There was no other option.
It was pretty clear that life was not going to pause, right, for
Right.
you at any situation. It was just like you're plowing ahead.
Yeah.
And because you have no choice.
Right. There were times where like, well, I've had this tumor on my brain possibly for decades
Wow.
without knowing it. Can it still be there for more decades without anything happening? But it was a pretty big tumor, and it was pushing in places it shouldn't have been pushing, so it really needed to come out. And for my surgeon to say, I'm very concerned about this, it needs to come out as soon as possible, I was like, okay.
So you waited as long as you could to have a healthy baby, your daughter, and now it's time for surgery. Can you walk us through that process? What happened?
The week between Poppy and then surgery was a total blur. Like trying to get to know her, but also I didn't fully allow myself that bonding because unfortunately I couldn't breastfeed due to being so close to surgery. She couldn't visit me at Harborview. I couldn't have any way to express milk or do any of that during surgery or after with all the chemicals and medications in me. So I came to terms that was not going to work for us. So Brad, bless his heart, stood up and took on the bottle feeding at night so that I could sleep. So he had that bond with her, which I'm so happy because I had that with Louis. So he had that opportunity as a parent, which I feel like a lot of dads don't get that. So that week home was a blur. I was focusing on Louis and my sleep and trying to bond with Poppy, but also I just didn't quite have that jive. And then I went into the hospital. My last, the hardest part, I think, was saying bye to Louis. So I was like, I hope I'm coming home. Because I'm having brain surgery, and I hope I'm coming home.
And they had warned you of some side effects of the surgery, limited mobility. What were some of those things that you were thinking of in the back of your mind of how am I going to come home? Like, what kind of form am I going to be in?
Right. They had told me expect for 4 to 6 weeks of inpatient rehab to rework your left side. And I was like, I can't do that. I cannot have my children visit me in rehab, let alone be away from my family and my home, my comfort level for 4 to 6 weeks. I can't do that. And I went in with, I'm not doing that. And I went into Harborview on a Monday and had an angiogram, spent the night, and then the next morning, it was go time. Like, I can't leave the hospital, it's go time. My surgeon came in and prayed over me, which was very moving for me. I've found my faith again through this whole journey. And my surgery started around 8, and my first vivid memory was looking at the clock at 3:15 in the afternoon, which is about when school's out and all the kids have gone home. And I was like, the school behind me really helped get me through all of this. And I could move my left side of my body. I could. I gave Brad a thumbs up, and I slowly reworked my left side, and I didn't have any rehab.
And what was his reaction? What were doctors' reactions, or even your own?
Well, the
when you're
surgeon
like,
came in the next day, and he's like, I think you'll probably need a week of inpatient. And I was like, okay, but I'm not doing that. I am not doing this. I want to go home. And I think I really channeled my grandma because she was a tough cookie. And I saw her in the hospital a couple different times, and just her interactions with people. Like, I had to push my legs against their hands, and I could just picture my grandma pushing her legs, being like, I can do this. I just really channeled my grandma and just found my inner strength and my belief in myself. And the PT and OT release, they signed off, said she can go home. So I went home on Thursday and dished my walker on Saturday and started walking on my own on Sunday.
Oh my god!
like in a weekend,
Where
you might be going 4 to 6 weeks rehab, and here you are, ditching the walker.
Ditching the walker. Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting when you talk about finding your faith again. I think a lot of people, when they go through hardship, it's very easy to fall into, well, why would you let something like this happen?
Yeah.
Or, I think that's something that we hear often. What did it feel like when you maybe were doubting your faith, which sounds like it was something that's important to you? And then what was it that made it feel like it was coming back? Because you describe it as finding your faith again.
I leaned on prayer, and that this route was given to me because I could handle it. I had the support of an amazing family and coworkers and friends that were behind me. And I just leaned on that and thought, this was given to me for a reason. I can handle it, and my body's going to make it through this. Like, no one is made for a situation like this. But just my strength, I think, really reminded me that you can do this.
What would you say to other people who feel like their faith gets shaken in a moment, and maybe they're kind of in that dark place of wondering, like, if whatever power there is makes something so horrible like this, why would this happen? What would you say to someone who falls into that?
That's a good question, because I was that person, and I leaned on two of my coworkers, brought back my faith, actually.
How so?
They just introduced me to some prayers and a saint that I had never heard of before, because I know just kind of like the standard Hail Mary and Our Fathers, but to learn new prayers and about saints, I'm like, okay, we have saints we celebrate, but to learn about new ones and that people pray to these individuals is just really powerful for me, that I have a picture of a saint in my house, and I'm going to put one in my school office. I grew up Catholic, and I went to Catholic school K through 12 and never really grasped the whole concept of having faith. It was just kind of something I did. But I was like, there's someone looking out for me, and there's someone looking out for my family. Some people guided me through this and really looked out for us.
How has this experience changed your relationship with your husband?
I would say it's made us stronger. It has not been easy, and I have not been easy to be around. Being pregnant, postpartum, emotions
Yes.
thrown in there, and just all the what ifs. He got the grunt of everything because he was there for me every day. Every single day he was there for me. And I think it's truly made us stronger, and we will look back and be like, remember that? And here we are now.
Can you also share, I mean, can we just include the fact that you guys also moved?
Yes.
Yeah, there's also
literally
that.
moved from one city to another in the last month.
Yeah.
So if you've moved, you know the process. With a child, two kids now.
2 kids now, yeah. We decided to move after all of this because we were renting a house and our lease was up. And I was like, should we renew? Should we move? And I was like, I can't drive right now because by state law, I can't drive. And so let's try and get closer to work and my parents, because my mom drives me anywhere I need to go when Brad's at work. And so we found a house, and I was like, we have to do it. I don't care what it takes. We're moving. And my parents step up like they do every other day that we need them, and watch the kids or pack boxes or loaded up vans and trucks to move us. So life is calm right now.
Calm.
Life is calm. August is calm. Brad has taken time off of work because I really hit rock bottom with mental health in July. And I was like, I need you. Like, you are our rock and our better half. We're balanced with you at home. Please be home for a little bit. And August has been great.
What did rock bottom of mental health in July look like?
A lot of crying, a lot of frustration, a lot of like, what is going on? Why am I doing this by myself? I'm tired of relying on my mom. Just the guilt of me relying on my mom. Though she's like, ask me whatever you want, whenever you want, I will do it for you. Bless her heart. And it just felt like, when is this going to be done? Like, when is the house going to be unpacked? When is Louis going to realize that he's a really good brother? Just small things that just like piled and piled and piled. And my OB asked, like, how are you doing? I was like, well, I have this, this, and this. And once these things pass, ask me again. And I feel like all those have passed now, and I feel calm.
Katie, that sounds like that's the other side of that same coin of the determined, like your grandma, like the can do, I will do, I must do, and you just watch me, right?
Yeah.
So there's like that side. And then on the same side coin, and on the other side is the feeling frustrated because you can't do it all.
Yeah.
And that self-imposed guilt that no one is making you feel guilty. Your mother has reached out to you anytime, but still that doesn't really take away this self-imposed guilt that we feel sometimes.
Yeah, and that's when I knew I needed help.
Frustration.
And I needed it from Brad because our kids love him and I love him, and he's just balances us so well that I was like, I need you. Mom is here and mom is wonderful and will do anything, and I need you.
How have Louie and Poppy played into how you've been motivated to also get through the last several months?
Well, I feel like sometimes don't feel like I've comprehended that I had brain surgery because I went home and mommed it up.
Right.
Like, Louis doesn't slow down, and I'm his person. I'm his preferred person to be around all the time. And we just kind of went into it, and I don't know. It's hard to think about sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think you have time to think about it.
Yeah.
It's also
Right
been a very
now.
short time period. You've gone through a
Yeah.
lot of things in a really short time period.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. At what point do you look forward to having perspective? Is it a year from now, or even more 10 years from now, when you can look back on this? Do Do you think your perception will change over time of how you perceive what's happening right now?
I think it will change. And every time I have a conversation with individuals that I don't know, I'm like, wow, that is a lot. Like, it is okay to feel this way. But with my core people, I'm like, we're fine, we're functioning. But then from the outside, it's like, this is not normal. Whatever the definition of normal is, this is not it. And this is a lot.
Are you surprised by your own resilience? Like, if you ever have a moment to zoom out to see what's going on in your life, you know how we were joking before we started recording, it was like other outsiders are like, how are you doing this? What's going on? And then you're just like, well, for me, this is a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's just what we have to do. Yeah. Yeah. I think I've always been quite resilient. I haven't had big things like this come my way, but it's always been like, you just got to do it. It's part of life. You just got to do it.
Yeah. You're doing a remarkable job.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know, what would you say to someone? We like to kind of round out each conversation with someone with either their advice or their best reflections for other people who are finding themselves, you know, back in their February for you. What would you say to them?
Believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, in the route that is ahead of you. Find your strength. Find your joy. Because a lot of times joy can be hard to find. There's joy, a small joy in every day. Find it and celebrate it. Because the big things that come your way are really big and can weigh you down. But find the joy.
Where have you found joy today?
Today,
Yeah.
Louis, my son, he woke up this morning. He's like, Mom, how'd you sleep last night? And I was like, I slept really great. How'd you sleep? I also slept really great last night. And I'm ready to go to Grandma's today. He does Wednesdays with Grandma, and he was all ready to go. He's starting preschool in the fall. So he packed his lunch in his lunchbox, and he put on his backpack. And they're going on a field trip down to the beach. So he really is my joy every day. And Poppy's developing more of her little personality and her smiles. So the kids bring me joy every day.
And she's doing great.
She is, yeah.
So wonderful.
Medically, what's next?
I have an EEG coming up next month to see what might have caused the seizure. I kind of want to just think like probably the tumor, but I don't know. That's fully out of my head. Right now, it was a full resection, which is great. And then I'll have MRIs every 3 months for 6 months, and then once every 6 months, and then once a year. And hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully there's no more surgeries or radiation, but if there is, I know I'm very confident in the care I've gotten in the locations I've been at, and I will continue there.
I have no doubt in that.
Yeah. And we're thrilled for your recovery. It's open mouth. Like, I just can't believe you. I can, though. Now that I've met you and I spoke to you, there is a part of me like, this totally makes sense.
It's your grandma.
It's my grandma
who's in there pushing against the feet.
Yeah. And I got to keep most of my hair, which I'm very pleased about because I was like, they're going to
part of the whole?
Yeah, they're going to shave my head to do surgery, but I have my hair and I can walk and I can talk and I can be a mom.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Katie's story is so inspirational. Love to thank Katie for getting really personal and sharing her most difficult moments in life.
I think what is so crazy about her story is that it happened in such a short time period, and the amount of time that she's had to reflect on it also hasn't been very long. So she's like freshly going through all of this within a couple of months and still has the insights to share some of her reflections and finding peace and joy. And it's only been a couple months. You know, I think she's going to make some remarkable progress as time goes on of just processing how all of this incorporates into the story of her life.
I think it's easy to say because things happened with no downtime, like just one thing after another. She had no time to relax, no time to really think about it. So one might say, well, that's how she got through it. She had no time. I think it's important to point out that she made a conscientious choice to be optimistic, right? To have hope, to see things the way she wanted to see things, despite what the x-ray showed, what the MRI showed, what the doctors were saying with the rehab time. I mean, it takes so much strength to choose to be positive.
Yes. And I just think it's fascinating when people are asking her, and maybe people have asked you this, people have asked me like, oh, that must have been so hard. How did you find the strength to get through? And sometimes it's also not about strength.
Yeah.
It's like, there is no option. Like for Katie, there was no option to not be a mother to her newborn.
Right.
And there was no option to ignore the tumor growing on her brain. So for her, it was just like, we're just going to do it. And it is the reality. So we're going to do it. And yes, while incorporating that optimism that she was talking about.
It's such a good thing that you just pointed out, because when we ask that question, it comes from our luxurious standpoint of not being in the situation, right? So you can ask something like that, where when you're in the hurricane, that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I thought she talked about the guilt. And I think that that's something that if you're a parent, you feel. If you are a child, I think you can feel that of guilt of how you are interacting with your parents. Guilt is something that I have felt very presently lately as I try and find the balance of do things for yourself, Kelly, and then trying to balance the time of also being a present parent for my children. Like for Katie, do something for yourself. Take care of this very serious medical situation, but also be a present mother to your newborn, and trying to find, and I know there is no balance necessarily, but it's something that I still struggle with, is releasing some of the guilt when you do need to also take care of yourself.
You know what does not help with that? With exactly what you just said?
What?
This thing.
Oh, no,
Because
that is not helpful.
Wait, here's what I mean by that. Here's what I mean by that. I go on social media to relax sometimes, right? And then you get caught up in the scrolling thing, and then you see the algorithms, and you see all the little posts about, like, where's your me time? Find your strength. Find your me time to recharge. Be a present parent. Oh, all this other stuff. And it just adds to the noise, and it doesn't really help you necessarily. So I find that this doesn't always help you in a positive way.
Right. Let's talk about, she talked about finding your joy, and something that worked with her is finding her joy in her everyday life. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. I want you to tell me where you found joy over the course of the last day or so.
Thank God you didn't say today. So I was like, my day's just getting started.
Not today.
What if it hasn't happened yet?
I've had since 2 a.m.
I know. Like you've had hours. Oh gosh, this sounds so cliche, but this is so true for me. It just like, Katie said, it has to be the kids right now. I just love where they are, right? The things that they say.
Did someone say something silly today that brought you joy?
Gosh, which one, right? It's like the things that, okay, little personal, little silly. I'm just saying, what I love this for is getting all the cool sayings that the kids like to throw out, and then I throw that out to the boys, and they find it intensely embarrassing. But I get so much joy out of their reaction. Does that count?
Yes,
is that a mean
counts.
way to get joy?
No, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So yeah, what about you?
My joy today came from, so before I leave for work, I go and say goodbye to the kids. Both the boys usually sleep so hard, but Riley always wants me to wake her up and say goodbye. And one thing that I love, because I know it'll be a fleeting thing, she won't always do that, but over the course of the last couple of weeks, she flings her arm over my neck.
Oh.
And I know she won't always do that.
Yes.
So when she is reaching out to cuddle in the morning, it floods my body with all of those hormones,
the endorphins and all the love
all the things that makes it okay. So I'm so glad that Katie's found her joy. It sounds like she's doing great.
Yes. And I hope she keeps us updated with everything, because she's still going through it, right?
Wow.
Admire her so much.
I know, me too. Well, what a great story, and I hope it resonates with other people as well.
Yep. And I hope everyone out there, focuses on one joyful thing.
That'll be our marching orders.
Think about,
find your joy. It's the doctor's prescription.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Kelly. Bye, everyone.